Body. What's happening, y'all? It's your man Damon Cunningham, aka Dave the NYDC. This is two mics up. It's the Tuesday night blitz back with my brother, my man, my partner, Big A Sam Adams. Sam, what's happening, bro? How we feeling today?
It's another glorious Tuesday. I still have an activating event, but I know we're gonna sit there and get to that, so I ain't gonna sit here and wallow in it
Yeah,
too much. But it's Tuesday,
yeah,
so
yeah. We gonna get into it. We gonna get into it. He's well. If y'all not catching on, just pay attention to the background on Sam's screen, and you'll really get the gist of where we at on this Tuesday evening. But before we get started, I want to take a moment just to kind of clear a little house and welcome um, a new partner to Two Mics Up. I want to thank, Tico Rico Hot Sauce. Look, flavor and food never spicy, never tasted so good. And so you have some Tico Rico Hot Sauce, man. I want to thank them, for partnering up with Two Mics Up. And I just got to go ahead and really just give them a brief shout out. But just take a look,
Unleash
man.
flavor with
Tico
Tico
Rico
Rico
Hot
hot
Sauce.
sauce, made from fresh, homegrown peppers for a vibrant taste. Enjoy the perfect blend of heat and zest with our habanero and refreshing serrano lime sauces. Ideal for tacos, seafood, or salads, Tico Rico enhances any dish. Join the Tico Rico family today and elevate your meals with our award-winning sauces. Visit us online to grab your starter kit and discover the magic of Tico Rico.
All right. So there you have it. Tico Rico, part of the Two Mics Up family, and they're actually gonna kind of open us up with our entertainment segment tonight. And like it was a busy weekend, Sam. We had the Grammys and everything
yes.
going on.
Hmm.
And for me, I'm not as big as, and we've talked about it before. I'm not really big on award shows, but I
Right.
I have to definitely shout out Kendrick and Beyonce for really shutting it down. I mean, just at the top of the food chain, what kind of what went down this weekend. And did you by chance get a opportunity to watch any of it or kind of follow up? And if you did, what was your take, on Kendrick, Beyonce, Dolce? Like, I mean, it was a whole movement this weekend.
Right. Yeah, definitely shout out to Dolce. Like,
Mhm.
if you haven't listened to that album, I highly suggest it. It was uh, it's a breath of fresh air. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
And it's no knock against like current rap artists, especially in the female lane, but
right.
just like her delivery and
It's
like
fire. It's
just
fire.
that the story from start to finish. So kudos to her. I think that was a well deserving award. Um, Shout out to Beyonce. I just find it strange, like when other people or other artists step into another lane, they
Mm,
sit here and they get praised for it,
mm,
taking that gamble and that chance. But then you
mhm.
have other artists that sit here and try to experiment themselves. And
Right.
now we're trying to like steal from a genre or something like that. So it was a bold gamble that sat there and paid off.
Look, how can you still? I mean, she's from Texas, right? I
Right.
mean,
Exactly.
those are country roots, man. Has been in our culture for years. So
Right.
to take something that again, I want to use the word appropriated, uh,
Right.
by another group. You know, talent is talent. Let's
Yeah.
just take a step back just from what we talking about appropriations and whose is what and what's is whose.
Yeah.
Talent is talent, and I'll be the first one. Most people who know me, I'm not. And Beehive, please don't get mad with me. I'm not like Beyonce is not on my number one list, right? But
Right.
I have to respect what she's bringing to the game, what she's bringing to the art. And I can't take away, and no one should be sitting here trying to come out of their mouth and take away really what she is at her core. She's a country girl, right?
Right.
And to bring her talents and to bring it to that genre and to bring that music to more people. I mean, I think we should be embracing that and
Exactly.
applauding her, for that versus trying to find uh, ways to divide and critically break down like, what country music is and what it isn't. So
Right.
I shout her out. Kendrick 5 for 5. Keeping the
Yep.
West Coast alive. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Man, he killed it. And I think. Do you feel that? Early on in the year, everybody was talking about valid. What should Lil Wayne should have been at the Super Bowl. Not to put any it's not like Kendrick needs validation, right? But Does this really put the stamp on it though? Because this was his year. Like, let's just call it what it is.
Okay, so I mean, I'm just going to be clear with it. Like, in our Lord Savior year of 2025, there is no way that I will want to see Lil Wayne perform at the Super Bowl. And you could look at previous things, like he was, the Hot Boys had their reunion during the Essence Festival, and like I think if I'm being clear on it, like he was kind of the weakest link out of it. I mean, they even got Turk out of retirement, and he had more energy on the stage than Lil Wayne. You look at the concerts that he's been having as of late, and how he's been forgetting his lyrics, even though he says that he doesn't write anything down. But you got the masters, bro. Like, come on. So if anything, I feel like if Rock Nation was smart, I would still have like some type of New Orleans themed tribute, like during the pre-celebration or the pre-game and everything. Like, go ahead and bring some of New Orleans or Louisiana's talent out so they could be spotlit. You know what I'm saying? But like this stage just belongs to Kendrick, K. Dot. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you want to call him, like this is his platform, and I think even last year I felt like it solidified when he made a guest spot during Dre's set. You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
So like this right here, like I think that is perfect for him. So like I don't even think it's validation. I think it solidifies more than validation. Like there's a reason why they had this pick right here. So I'm cool with it.
I agree. I couldn't have said that any better. I mean, look, I'm sitting here, man. You talking? I had to throw it in there for myself because I mean, I just needed to be known, man. It got to be facts on that. He beyond validation, like you said, nothing against Lil Wayne, nothing like that. And I really hope so. Like the pregame and like the weekend events that are going on in town, I would really hope, like you said, New Orleans will find ways to highlight their talent at different venues and different events. Because that is still, I mean, you're going to New Orleans, you want the culture, right? You want the experience. And, Lil Wayne, the Hot Boys, Master P,
bring out No Limit.
Right, No Limit, all of that, because that is the culture. And that plays a huge part in what really goes on down there. So I hope we got some legitimate promoters and different things going out there in New Orleans that's really making it happen. So talking about New Orleans and things, we got to talk about the Super Bowl, right? I mean, we can't even skip that. And shout out to 94 Media House for providing this segment for us. And we're looking at two teams that have seen each other, kind of two different. Well, definitely in Philadelphia, a little bit of a different model, a little different look. And I want to start there with you. Like, what do you see, Sam, as Philadelphia's keys to victory, if you will, as they take on Kansas City here as they go for their three-peat?
Two key things that I see is, one, the defense has to continue to play at the caliber that they've been playing. Because I mean, even if we go back to the NFC Championship, like it doesn't paint like the full picture of what the score was. There was glimpses, but like they really held their own as far as the containment and everything. The second thing is going to be Jalen Hurts and what he does with the ball. Like he's going to have to get his receivers as far as Swift and AJ Brown, Gobert. He's going to have to. I'm thinking basketball already, but he needs to sit there and get his receiving core better involved in the game and utilize those weapons. I mean, we already know that Saquon's going to sit here and get the rock. You know what I'm saying? Right. So at the end of the day, it's like, how do you sit here and have a balanced offense? Because you still got all these weapons, so you might as well sit there and utilize them. So, and you can see. You already know that Kansas City is going to come out strong, especially on the defensive end. But like as the game progresses, and we've been seeing it throughout the playoffs that they've been in, they tend to taper down a little bit. Come the end of the second half end of the second quarter into moving on to the third and the second half. They trickle down. So like they just going to have to keep that up tempo, in that speed, and like they're going to have to want it basically.
Yeah, you kind of took my thing because that's really for me. And I remember we talked about it. We were last on even going into the conference championships about there has to be a Jalen Hurts sighting, right? That
Yes.
there has to be those two or three plays, in my opinion. And you spoke about it. He's got to find AJ Brown. He's got to get a way to get AJ Brown involved in the game to
Hmm.
have that threat, even whether it be Devontae Smith or the boy that they got from the Commanders, something deep to kind of
Right.
put that pressure on that Kansas City defense. Because, like you said, I do believe they're going to come out hungry, and they
Yeah.
usually tend to come out very hot and aggressive
Yeah.
early on the game to kind of. I think it really helps them offensively because it's not the same offense that we've seen in the past.
Right.
But I do want to say though, like the last couple of playoff games, we've seen Mahomes and Xavier Worthy really take the top off
Right.
on several deep plays, and so Philadelphia's really got to be ready defensively. But Jalen Hurts, if I think you and I agree, he has to show up in some capacity other than Saquon Barkley because we all I don't think anybody on this planet that Saquon going to get his
Yeah.
somewhere somehow. So the
Yep.
common denominator in this matchup is the quarterbacks, but Jalen Hurts
Hmm.
really has to. I don't want to say outplay Mahomes, but he's got to have those crucial plays and those crucial moments. Unlike nothing against Lamar, but when they lost, he had the
Yeah.
fumble, the
Right.
interception that really put Baltimore in a position. And even though they had a chance to win, it could have been different if you didn't have those. And Jalen and the Eagles really don't want to be in that same position, and it really
Right.
falls on his shoulders this week. So we're in agreement there. Now, when let's say, Sam, if we flip the field, if you will, flip to the other side,
Yeah.
what do you see like Kansas City's blueprint really going forward outside of paying and kissing the refs?
I don't know, man, because like it's been luck all season. That's kind
Yeah,
of like been the theme for the Kansas City Chiefs
yeah,
is
yeah.
luck. So
Mhm.
my bigger question is like, when is this luck going to run out? You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And they have I can't even explain it because like you think about it, and even when you go back to the AFC Championship game with the Bills, that was just like really poor, especially like the fourth quarter. It was a lot of
Mhm.
poor management, like offensive management when they had the ball, and they could never capitalize.
Right.
So it's just like you, you have to for the I guess the Chiefs just need to continue to keep on playing like they've been playing. They've been playing lucky, and at the same time they've been playing like no one's a feasible threat.
Right.
If and I say that kind of like loosely and everything too. Like they've just been going out there, and it looks more like street ball or something like that. You know what I'm
They're
saying?
playground.
Like
You just drawing
yeah,
it up in the sand. You go long. You
yep,
right here to the right. You
hmm,
over here to the left.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
playground ball. Yeah.
You just stay right here in the pocket just in case I got to flip this joint out right quick. You know what I'm saying? But like that's kind of been the style of play, um, and it's been working for them. So I think defensively Philly can shake things up. I think they
Yeah.
have when you look at the two, I think they have the healthier secondary, and that's going to be key too. But you brought it up too, like who's going to match Xavier Worthy's speed?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and they can't be generous with him. Like, don't sit here. I'm not saying press him all the time. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? I'm not saying run man all the time because he will. I mean, we are talking about an Olympian too.
Right.
So, I think that's going to be the key. How long is it going to take for Mahomes and Worthy to sit there and kind of like gel and get it going? Because if they get it started early, then it's going to be a wrap. You
Yeah.
know?
I agree. That's the part. I think we both in agreement on. I think Kansas City because again, let's just go. We this year has been a very lucky
Yeah.
year. Lady Luck has been good to them, and I think you and
Oh
I are
yeah.
both in agreement. But this
Hmm.
is a repetitive thing now where they've been in this situation now. What it's been 4 out of the last 6 years or 5 out of the last 7 years. So they've been in this
Mhm.
position, and my
Right.
thing is they get out in front and kind of get this steamroll going. I don't know if Philly is really. I think they have the talent to do it,
Right.
but sometimes when you're in over your head, you never really done this before collectively, and it's not the full same team that went 2 or 3 years ago. This is a whole new
Yep.
squad.
Yep.
I don't know if they're going to be able to kind of deal with that, and I'm just fast forwarding to that because I think we're kind of in the similar space. But when you look at the game in totality right now, I know we're a couple of days out before the weekend, but who would you say is going to be Super Bowl 59, champion this year, in this matchup?
Man, that's another tough question. I'm gonna go. I don't like. No. Let me be unbiased right here.
Okay.
Like I said, I Philly has the opportunity to win the Super Bowl
Yeah.
again. Like I said, like they've been through the gauntlet of the NFC during the playoffs and everything, and I think that they've shown that they're ready for this stage and ready to take it to the next level.
Mhm.
So I'm going Philly over KC. I say 31-28.
Wow. And what's funny? What's scary? I mean, you and I, we do tend to agree, and then we disagree on certain things. But what's scary is, so you and I are kind of in the same situation and we've talked about it various times throughout, this year. And hey, everybody, thank you for joining us. I see some people in the background. Hey, drop us a comment. Let us know where you're from, or you have something you'd like to interject. Please go ahead and drop it in the comments. And we thank you, for joining us tonight.
Appreciate y'all.
Yes. And I think you and I are in the same boat. Like when we kind of look at it, we're looking at this from the same lens, if you will.
Right.
And I'm having a hard time, like you said prior, about just Kansas City's luck.
Yeah.
They've been very lucky this year. We've said it plenty of times. They could have easily been 9-8 or 8-9
Right.
this season, but they got the calls and they got the breaks. But I do look at this I look at this Eagles team, and they're just scary.
Mm-hmm.
And the times that they have gotten all the pieces together, you really see, to me, they're the best complete team. Right. And especially on the offensive side. I mean, they have so many weapons, it's ridiculous. And their defense may not be outside of Philadelphia, it may not be a name brand defense, if you will, but they have
Mm-hmm.
talent. And I came to the same conclusion that you did. I just think that luck runs out
Mm-hmm.
on Kansas City. The pumpkin arrives for Cinderella, at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the game. And I called it a 27-22 game.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to have some ebbs and flows, but I think we're on the same page, which is weird. So for those of you who gamble, go bet on Kansas City.
Yep.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
follow reverse trend. But yeah. So as we close too, we're getting ready to finalize, 2024-2025 NFL season. And as we look forward to 2025, Sam, are there, and I mean, I want you to start in-house with your Packers, one,
Okay.
on where you guys, or where you see you guys need to maybe make change, or where you can make change and where you shift in. Are there any surprise teams that maybe you're kind of curious to look at for next year that maybe people should pay attention to?
All right. So as far as the Packers go, they already been cleaning house, especially in the front office. Got rid of our defensive coordinator,
Yep.
our quarterbacks coach. He retired. So I think they're hunting in the market right now. I think we just got a new QB coach. So really, we need a strength and conditioning coach to get rid of some of these doggone injuries that we've been dealing with for the past few years.
Yeah.
And it's just been an ongoing cycle, I want to say, for like the past 7-8 years. Like we haven't had like one good season with like a healthy core, even going into the playoffs. So that makes it rough too.
Right.
Plus side is that this is the first time in a long time that we have like over $50 million worth worth of cap space.
Got
So
money.
I think that that's going to be beneficial. And Green Bay doesn't have the tendency to go outside the box, but I think it's at this point, especially on the defensive end, that you need to sit there and capitalize off of it. You got Myles Garrett, you got Max Crosby. Josh Jacobs been trying to sit here and poach Max Crosby from Vegas, and he said that he even said coming into the offseason that he was going to sit there and be a huge advocate to try to get players into Green Bay. So if we can go offense, I think is fine, with the exception of I need Jordan Love to work on his short game instead of the deep ball. So minus that, like
stop throwing them pickles.
We got plenty of receivers.
Right.
It might be coming to that point that we need to part ways with Christian Watson. Just health wise, it's just too much of a risk.
Yeah, he can't stay on the field for nothing.
And we're talking about like 3-4 seasons now.
Yeah,
like he's been dealing with this. So.
Talented dude, man. He's super talented, but like I say, he just can't stay healthy.
Right. And I really think, like, no shade, but I think a lot of that does have to do with Jordan Love taking the gamble so much downfield. And you already know my man's legs is
you airing them out.
It doesn't take a lot. Yeah, it doesn't take a lot for him to sit and get banged up. So like, and that's what I'm saying. Just mitigate risk. Play downs. Don't play the deep ball.
Yeah.
So, two other teams that I'm looking at is like, how is the theme this year was the NFC North, and how you had like. At the beginning of the season, it was all 4 teams.
Right.
Midway through, then it came to like the 3 between Green Bay, Minnesota, and the Lions.
Yep.
I think that's going to be a different landscape come the new year. I'm more intrigued about the West and just how Seattle played. How is San Fran going to bounce back from all the injuries that they had this previous year? You saw Arizona, not Arizona, but LA.
Well, Arizona had their head up above water for a minute.
Right. Yeah. The Rams and how they go to sit here and thrive too. So like I think we might see the West be that power team right there. So those are the biggest ones. On the AFC, it's always a toss up. You already have your big team. So like what is Joe Cool going to do up there in Cincinnati? What does it take for Josh Allen to get over the hump and defeat the people out there in the Midwest and Kansas City? When is Lamar going to actually show up during the playoffs?
Shoot, we just talking about, I was just talking about that at work. Because after a while, we talking about 7 years, give or take, with Lamar now, right? And it's always, let's see what he does next. After a while, next year runs out.
Yeah.
And I think that's the question. And I please, ladies and gentlemen, Baltimore fan, I am not saying he is a bust or anything, but like, when do you succeed? Like, and it's the same question for Josh Allen as well.
Yeah,
like,
true too.
When do you succeed? When do you burst through that door, and really change things up? And I want to say challenge Kansas City, because I mean Buffalo gave him a heck of a run, but like when do you bust through the door, and when if we see that? Because I'm of the position that another year, this man, like we might be talking totally different. If Lamar doesn't break through, do they just blow things up in Baltimore? Same thing with Josh Allen. They kind of went through a renaissance, if you will, and he had a renaissance year, but again, he ran into Kansas City. So when is those narratives going to change, and what do those teams really need to do to burst through that door?
They keep on getting stonewall, and that's the problem. Like each year we say it's a learning lesson, I got to do better the following year, but you keep on running into that. So like eventually it's going to bend a little bit, so like those are the big ones. Also with, Miami as well and the Dolphins, if I'm still talking about the AFC, like, is it, is Tua still going to be there? I mean, Tyreek Hill already talking about, he's like, I'm done. So like, there's a couple of variables there. Is Johnny Sunshine down in Jacksonville, is he going to bounce back? So you got your top tier teams, but it's like, that's crazy when I think about the AFC. It's like you got the top, and then you just got the basement. You know what I'm saying? And it's like everyone else is in the basement right now. And like, are they going to be able? The Chargers, you know what I'm saying? They made a nice run.
Right, they did.
Bo Nix in Denver. Like, is this going to be, is there enough cap space for them to sit there and get a couple of more pieces offensively and defensively out there in Denver too? I think not Joe Payton.
Sean Payton.
Is it Sean Payton? Yeah. Like I think that talk of his coaching, him holding people back. I guess we could put that to bed for now.
For now,
You know
yeah, because that's how I felt. I talked about it
Yeah.
earlier this year. I felt that way. I felt they were trash. I thought Sean Payton was overhyped, and I thought he was doing them a disservice. But they turned it around, so obviously I was wrong in that situation. So it'll be interesting. Like for me, when I look at the AFC, I'm looking at Houston. I don't know what it is. I just buy into what the Marco Ryans is. I love what they have. Again, injuries really decimated them as a team. But in the playoffs, that first round game, that was a team that I expected to see all year. And I just want to see what they do. I'm a fan of CJ Stroud. I thought he was garbage. Look, I'm going to say it because I always felt Ohio State quarterbacks were garbage in college, and this never panned out in the NFL. But CJ Stroud, kudos. I really like how he plays. Got a little gunslinger in him. I think he needs to learn how to kind of, work on, like you said, some of his short and intermediate game. Ease up on the pickles. So you're not really putting your team a lot of times in bad situations on defense. But I'm interested. That's who I'm really. That's the team for me in the AFC that I really, really want to see turn the corner. Again, we talked about Lamar. I just at some point want, man, just get to the Super Bowl. Right? Just get to the Super Bowl. Like I don't know, and I don't know what the dynamics is. I don't know what the, I don't want to say kryptonite, but is there something about that Buffalo, Kansas City thing that he has? So I hope they figure that out. If I'm talking to NFC, I'm not even going to waste time on my Giants. I'm just not going to do it because the whole front office needs to be fired. I think the staff could be fired at this point. We need to I'm just being honest. We need to have a hard reset. We let whatever talent that we did have, we see what it's doing in Philadelphia. Shout out to the Eagles for investing in Saquon, and we see how that investment's turned out. The Giants just need a whole reset. They need the whole blueprint to what we're doing in New York. Needs to be just start anew. So next year, I'm not really looking for much. If we can just be more competitive than what we were with the pony team that we had out there this year, I'd be happy. In the NFC, though, I agree with you. In the West, the Rams really have me intrigued. And we watched them again this year on the back half again. Everybody started getting healthy. The pieces started coming together. I think they're really quietly, they're definitely a threat long term to anything that goes on in the NFC. And that goes for the Lions. That goes for the Eagles. Just watching them and what they have, the foundation, somewhat of a championship pedigree.
Right.
They're going to be a challenge. And really, I'm just curious to see. So we've watched Detroit ascend over the last 3 or 4 years. So this year they hit a little hiccup. Shout out to the Commanders. Great job. Jaden Daniels and all of them. Great job. But really, how do they bounce back? Again, from another, probably the most recent heartbreaking setback that they've had. So how do they bounce back? So I'll be curious to see that. Keep an eye on Detroit. But again, like you're saying, they're playing in your division. Your division, man, y'all was just knocking the snot out of people all year. So it was a tight division. So it'll be one interesting to see, can they maintain that same level and that type of record that they had? And two, what the rest of your division does to really stand up and show out. I think Minnesota is probably going to stay, if I have to be honest. Sam damn Darnold turned into a pumpkin. So I have a feeling that, Minnesota might take a step back, depending on what they do. But it's going to be interesting.
Well, I think we talked about that before too. I think it's now we're moving to AJ McCarron, and it's going to be his time because as you can see, Minnesota doesn't even want to pay Sam Darnold. So is AJ McCarron going to have the same success with Addison, Jefferson? You know what I'm saying? He got a good core right there. So now putting him in that seat, especially coming back from an injury, how is he going to be able to sit there and bounce back too?
It's to be seen. Like I said, I think, like I said, it was magic in the water in Lake Minnetonka out there. Sam Darnold, for a while did his thing. Like you said, AJ McCarron is really going to be the one driving the bus next year. And again, I don't want to say looking at a Caleb Williams, but he may actually have it may have done him some good to be able to sit and watch a year. You know,
Right.
and that's the flip side that I think a lot of times
Yeah.
people don't talk about. So it may have been a good thing for him. But again, we'll see once they give him the keys to the car and see how things turn out next year. But it's going to be interesting. You know, the 2025-2026 season, you got guys out here who want to go. You know, you talked about it, Myles Garrett in Cleveland. They're saying they'll never let him go. He's not going, but it'd be interesting to see where he shows up. Bosa, you know, and some of the other
Mm-hmm.
high profile players. So the scenery can change, and that will have a lot to talk and talk about in the upcoming months as we get into the draft and free agency and all that thing. So I'm excited about that. And man, Sam, you know, one of the other exciting things that happened over the weekend wasn't really exciting for you.
No.
But we just went, man, and we just had a whole bevy and
Welcome
slew
to True
of things where
Basketball. Today we're going to talk about the trade between the Dallas Mavericks and the Lakers. Anthony Davis.
yeah, shut your mouth. So who do you see in this trade? Like where are you? Because I shouldn't even have to ask, but I'm going to let you take a moment to explain where you are, where you stand on this mega trade that we haven't seen something like this in God knows forever.
I don't know. I mean, I was hurt. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I went to bed and it was like 11:45. I get a text from one of my homeboys, like, look into the Lakers. I'm like, this Negro lying. I'm gonna go to bed. You know what I'm saying? And then I came over there, I woke up, and I wake up, the first thing that I put it on is doggone ESPN, and now you seeing look into the Lakers and what we got for it. Like, I look at the whole package, I was like, this is a horrible trade. And granted, like, I know everyone's looking at like the 24 season versus the 25 season where he's at right now. Then you start to peel the onion back a little bit more. Now we have another player that has a weight issue and can't stay healthy. The time that we're thinking that he's out in November due to, I think they said it was ankle or knee injury. It was because they were trying to get Mans to trim down some, because they was like, you ballooning over 260. So my man liked the Pilsner. You know what I'm saying?
He gets it in too. He's not afraid. He's not afraid.
And like, I get it. Like, you had Michael Finley in that office and in there trying to maintain their asset, because he was the next Dirk. We were trying to look at Luka being with the franchise for the next 13 more years to tag on to the 7 years that he's been in the league so far. But I'm still in shock, because I guess it was more once you peel the onion back. When you look at him on paper right now, Davis is averaging slightly higher as far as points per game. Versus Luka. I want to say Luka is averaging like 25, 26 a game. Anthony Davis is somewhere around like 27.9 a game and everything. So but I'm confused, because I feel like it was kind of like a panic button, because Derek Lively got hurt, and there's no real timetable to when
he's coming back.
He's like the big man. You know what I'm saying? Gafford is there, but Gafford's just like okay, but like Lively's jumper and just like his rim protection is way better than Gafford. So I think it's a short-term investment, and Dallas got to put more pieces there. They need like one more piece. I really wanted like Zach LaVine, but I think he ended up in like Sacramento or something like that. But you need one more asset on that if you're going to make a run, because that's pretty much the picture right now. We already know the Lakers and where they stand. It's going to be all flash, no bang. And I mean that in the most respectful way, especially when you look at their lineup. Dallas saying that they're trying to make a push. So you need one more piece to the cog in order to make this work and win back fans, because if you don't do that, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be like it's all for nothing right there. So I see the Lakers now. If I look at another hat, there's no guarantee of how much longer doggone LeBron is going to be with the team. So I think from their perspective, I need another name to sit here and fill seats, because Connect isn't going to fill seats. Austin Rivers isn't going to sit here and fill seats.
Right.
I think they got Schroeder now. He's not going to sit here and fill seats. So, and we know Bronny ain't going to sit here and fill no doggone seats either. So it's like, I think they're looking at it because, the Lake Show is an NBA team, but they're the entertainment. You know what I'm saying? So I think that they're more concerned about, like, how am I going to fill these seats moving forward? So, I mean, it does hurt, you know.
I mean,
I finally felt like Kyrie and Luka was gelling. You know what I'm saying? And then, like, with the addition of Derek Lively and Gafford, and now you got Clay, you know, I still feel like they still had too many shooters on the team, and there still wasn't enough defense. So hopefully, for now, since you're going to have, like, Gafford probably played at 5 and Anthony Davis at the 4 slot, you know what I'm saying? Now you got 3 shooters, you know, with PJ Washington, Kyrie, and Clay. And then you have the 2 bigs down there cleaning up everything. So it could work. I'm not happy. I just need to see results. So
I think at the end of the day, for you, you're right. So when you look at from your perspective, what you just said, personally, I think Dallas right now definitely got the better end of the stick. When I say that, only because, like you said, you're getting the best player from the Lakers. You know, you're getting a guy who is actually, like you said, putting up 27 points a game. He's actually having great success rebounding the season and blocking shots. So just on the aspect of that, and like you said, with Dallas not having Lively, Gafford is he's a pretty hard-nosed player, and he gives you buckets and points and spurts. But that's, you know, he's really a rebounder and a defender. But if you can match him with Anthony Davis on the floor, you know, while Lively is out, and I think if PJ can still show those flashes, he's a big 3 now, right? He can play your 3, he can play your stretch 3, which gives you an advantage. And the flip side of it too, also to me, shows that Dallas, the front office, has full faith in Kyrie. Full faith in Kyrie running the show, right? So you put Kyrie and Clay, and you get, and I agree with you, they need 1 or 2 other pieces. I think they need some type of wing defender, or some type of, you know, stretch 3-4 guy that can kind of give you 3 and D play. That kind of helps get them over the hump. So I think in this window of what Dallas, and if you're listening to what Nick was saying, you know, during, you know, the interviews, they're trying to win now. So I think with these pieces right now, it gives them definitely a better chance of advancing. Now, we're scratching our heads to this though, because like I said, when you and I were talking over here, not even 7-8 months ago, this team was in the NBA Finals. So to kind of blow it all up, and whatever went on behind closed doors, they just did not have faith in Luka, in my opinion, anymore. One, like we talked about the conditioning piece for him, full term, because is this the beginning of his walking clothes career? You know, no disrespect to AD or Embiid, you know, but they always out there in street clothes, you know. And was this one of those things? Again, we're not there, we don't know. You know, is this a thing that, you know, maybe they're fearful? You know, he's 25, but is he going into that window of his career? Because again, last year, the last couple of years, he's been playing 35, 38, 40 minutes a game. But if you're out of shape, you know, that wears on your body. So, you know, there's a whole background to that. Now, flip to the Lakers. I'm just going to be honest with you. I think the Lakers just said that the heck with it, we giving up. We're planning for the future. And by having Luka gives them an opportunity to have a new face of the franchise moving forward, because potentially, you know, we're talking about 12, 13 years. You know, if he get with LeBron and LeBron gets in his head about the health kick, you know, Luka could be playing until he's 40 for all we know.
Right.
Now, my biggest fear with the Lakers when I look at them, though, if I'm going to be honest, is LeBron. And when I say is LeBron, like he's in a win now mode, right? So
Mm-hmm.
will he have the patience? And again, I don't know nothing about Luka, but the stories that we hear, does he have the patience for Luka kind of catching up and getting up to speed physically with his health, doing the things that he needs to do to continue to be that international all-star? I don't know.
Right.
And I don't think so. I know me at an old age, you have less patience. You don't
Right.
have patience for the BS, right? So, am I the Lakers now? Do I take advantage of? Do I trade LeBron? Do I sit down and talk to LeBron and say, "Hey, let's sit down and talk about something, maybe getting you to a team where you can win now. You have a, because we know LA is not doing it right now. I think they were 4th or 5th at the time of the trade. They're
Right.
definitely looking at definitely 10-11 playing type scenario at this point. Because where's the
Right.
defense coming from? You
Mm-hmm.
got 2 dominant ball handlers, and it's not to say that they can't play together because I think they'll figure that out. But the 2 of them can't shoot. You know what I'm saying? Were they both
Mm-hmm.
going to shoot 50 times a game? Where's the rest of the scoring coming from?
Right.
Where's the threat? Where's the defense?
Right.
So I think that's where LA they've lost in the short term. LeBron is lost in the short term. So I'll be interested to see, basically we're 2 days away from the final, I guess, final bell on the trade deadline. What
Mm-hmm.
does LA do, with LeBron, or if LeBron decides he wants to maybe make a move? And then there's some other trades, in the league. We're still looking at Jimmy Butler,
Right.
potentially. And what's your take on his situation? 'Cause I really I went from, understanding Jimmy and like, what, Jimmy, I hear you, but right now I have a total different opinion of him right now.
Right. He's man, he is it's like damaged goods. You know what I'm saying? It's like you go to the grocery store, you have like that last aisle, and you have like all those expired doggone
Expired.
perishables that that they're trying to, they sit there and they discount. But
Yep.
the sad part about it is that you can't discount Jimmy Butler. You're not going to be there's not going to be a team that's going to be able to sit here and pay him what he wants. And then you have to look at it like, is there going to be a team that's going to have the same mentality as far as like, I got to win now, that's going to be willing to sit there and take a gamble on them too. So that's been stirring in my head like for a long time. Like there's talk about the Spurs maybe picking them up.
Mm-hmm.
There was small chatter about Dallas in there and going after him too.
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't know, man. I wouldn't want that in my locker room, knowing that it could turn at any moment. You know what I'm saying? So
That's that part.
At this point in time, it's becoming more of Jimmy Butler being a liability versus being an asset towards your team. So, and that's just me,
No, you know what, and that's where I'm at. Like at first, I'm with you. Like I was all for it. Like, look, man, somebody can go out here and get Jimmy Bucks. I still think Jimmy has the talent to bring to a team that's in the hunt to help get them over the hump. I really do believe that he still has that talent. Now,
right.
At his age, though, let's just be honest. I don't know if he has, right now he's making $50 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
And he still has another year left on this current contract. So that puts you at 36, 37, well, let's say probably 37, 38 by the time you're going into that next contract that you want.
Right.
I don't see anybody in their right mind, unless you're LeBron, who's going to pay you that another 10 or 15 million on top of that at that age. So that part, I'm like, bro, you're bugging. Like you getting 50 bands, take your 50 bands and ride out because that's what you signed up for. Okay.
Right.
So now you want out. The problem is you've gone from being suspended 3 games to 7 games, and then they hit you with the tag or your last suspension as things that are detrimental to the team. Now, once you get that detrimental tag placed, that word stays with you now.
Right.
And that's the part I don't think he understands. Yes, you're a talent and you're talented, but what GM or owner wants to have to, like you said, what am I getting here?
Right.
What's in this headspace? And I don't want to pay that type of money to someone that's already with a buddy of mine. We sit, we smoke cigars, we go play golf, we in meetings together. That Pat Riley is telling every other owner, let me tell you what this dude did. Let me tell you what he did today.
Right.
So that now he's painting a picture on top of the word.
Right.
Nobody wants that. And I like Jimmy Butler. Like I said, I really think he still has something to give to someone. But bro, get yourself in order and do whatever it takes. If you're that unhappy, then do whatever you have to do to get out. And where he's going to go, I think the Mavericks move, now that they made this move, I don't know if the Mavs are going. And again, crazy things have happened.
Yeah.
I don't know if he makes it to Dallas, but I do like the other trade and the other team with Wemby, and they picked up De'Aaron Fox over the weekend.
Right.
I think that is very intriguing if they can land Jimmy Butler. You got two vets now with Chris Paul, Jimmy Butler. People sleep on De'Aaron Fox. He's a former All-Star, still 25, 26, maybe 27 at most. Still, he's versatile game. You put them with the best phenom in the game right now in Wemby.
Yeah.
San Antonio goes from out of the playoffs to, they could be looking at a 5 or 6 seed, going in, into the second half. And I wouldn't want to face that squad if, Jimmy Butler was the go to San Antonio. So he does have other options. And I know last thing I heard, Jimmy wants to go to Phoenix. I don't see how that.
Oh, well, there's talk about KD wanting out of Phoenix right now too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that dropped earlier this afternoon, saying that KD is open to trade talks as well too, and I think that has more or less to do with the Bradley Beal pickup.
Wow.
I think that was. I didn't understand it to begin with because
it wasn't a fit.
I understand what he was doing in Washington, but it wasn't at the caliber that you can try to
Agreed.
handcraft this big three. I never considered him a big three material or a lead and roll material. He was a lead and roll and doggone with the Wizards.
Yeah, and that's all they had. Yeah.
They've been dismal for years now. So to sit here and try to pit him, for some strange reason, they thought it was going to be a good gel between him, Book, and KD, but it just didn't pan out. So, and you look at it this way too. And if we go back to the Luka trade, you're making players feel expendable now.
Yeah.
It was a talk that this is my player, this is my franchise player. I'm gonna do whatever to make sure that he's all right, so the team can be successful.
Right.
And now they're like, no, man, if we need to sit here and move furniture, we gotta, what I'm saying, we gotta go ahead and do so. So that was the perfect example right there.
It really was.
It should be a wake up call to all players now. These that want load management like Embiid or Ben Simmons who barely shows up.
See, he still plays? No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Keep going, Ben. Keep doing your thing.
Yeah, I that's what I kind of feel like the trend is going to. And I think it's players have had too much power to begin with.
Yeah.
You know what? Especially over, I want to say the past maybe 15 years.
Yeah.
It
was a power shift. Definitely was a power shift.
Yeah, going with the question that we had, I think it kind of really stems from that. So now you're kind of reaping what you sow, and owners are getting hella money. So they have to, especially with TV deals and everything. Yeah, you got another big one coming up with Amazon and NBC back in the talk. So they getting their bread. So now it's to the point I'll send you to the Pelicans or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You never been to Charlotte before?
Yeah. Well, put it on your calendar because that's where you'll be. Yeah.
Exactly. So
it's crazy, but you're right. Just the energy and the vibe, just with owners. And you can kind of see it and feel that shift. And as you mentioned it, you listen to Katie talk about it. The whole thing with Pat Riley. I mean, Pat Riley's always been Pat Riley. He's definitely old school. But you feel that shift, and though part of it too, I think too, and tell me, I know sometimes like I've started watching less NBA because I don't find the game as attractive. Right.
Right.
You know, there's no defense, there's nothing. But I do like
Right.
to watch like those games, like Wemby is a phenomenon, right? You know,
Yeah.
something I've never really seen before. So I do like to, watch when he's playing, or I still like to watch, LeBron. Don't know when it's gonna be the last time I get to see him play,
Right.
So those ones, or Steph Curry, but the game itself to me seems very disjointed, and it
Yeah.
doesn't even seem even with the superstars.
Right.
And do you think there's a fix for that, or is there a change that's on the horizon?
I No, I think it's going to get worse because you
Mm,
brought it up. Like we're moving into a phase that there's going to be no more Steph, no more LeBron,
true.
no more Draymond, no more KD.
Yeah.
And like what happens when that version of Mount Rushmore disappears?
Yeah.
You know, I really feel like money has convoluted the game like so bad because even before once the TV rights start rolling in, like I remember that it was about like 8 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. You had like C-rated, B-rated players getting max contract deals, names that I ain't never heard before, but yet like somebody that's been sitting on the bench for like 2 years now he's getting a 4-year, $125 million doggone contract, that was 8 years ago, so that would probably equate somewhere like in the low twos right now.
Right.
So, and then like you've Tex or more, or just fouls period or more.
Yeah.
The All-Star break is more of a sham. You're doubling points per game because everything is about the arc, and that goes back to what I said before. Like gambling has ruined it too, because now it's about the point spread. It's not like what I could do defensively. I think it was one game. Chicago shot what was it, 59 threes. Crazy. And they only made like 18% of the threes. So that means that you had some Bama shooting threes that had no business shooting 3-pointers at all. Yeah. But like that's where the game is at. Like we're gambling, and don't get me wrong. And I know that we're segueing into something else. The gambling has always been there. We know that.
Yeah, it's underbelly.
It's so commercialized now to the point that you have like your sportscasters and your networks with their own gambling, their own gambling apps. They have segments up there now that sits here and talk about like gambling and the spread and all this stuff.
The under, the over, all that. Yeah, man,
we ain't never seen this shit before, but because we're at the state that we are now, it's about money. You know what I'm saying? It's about money and profit. So I really don't think the only way that it's going to get better is there's going to be a turning point when the NBA is going to become more grassroots again. But I think in order for that to happen, the viewership is going to have to go down, which I think it already has anyway, because now you need NBA League Pass, Amazon, Peacock, CBS Network,
all kind of stuff. Yeah.
I think Netflix has a dip in the pot in it this upcoming year too. So you have all these streaming services that's wrapped up in it too. I can't even watch a game, and even if I want to watch a local game, I can't because it's blacked out. And now I have to go to my doggone streaming app or something like that, or I go to the streaming app and it's blacked out because the game is supposed to be premiering on my networks, and I can't even see the damn thing. So it's a catch-22 right now. Like money,
it's a mess.
Money has really clouded the NBA.
Yeah.
And speaking of it, like I said, the All-Star game, it's not even really dunk contest is trash now.
Yeah.
Now you go from the dunk contest that used to be like the premier portion of the All-Star game to now you're talking more about the doggone 3-point shooters or the what is
the skills challenge. Yeah.
I don't want to see that.
See that?
Yeah. I didn't tune in this joint to see y'all dribble through hula hoops and stuff like that. Like get that trash off the court. I did like USA versus the world, or when they did stuff like that, or you had like your freshman versus like sophomore class of like the draft and everything. Those were good games, and they played harder than actually having your all-stars out there. So it's too much. there's no quick fix for it. I don't know what Silva's going to do in order to change the scope
Well,
of it.
it's not going to get no better because Silva's already
No.
playing. I heard they talking about doing an international league now. So I'm
Right.
like, well, if we're muddying the waters here in America, we're going to go take it over to Europe and overseas. This is not going to get better anytime soon. And because I
No.
think that's part of what the problem. I don't want to say what the problem has been, but the NBA today now is very international.
Right.
And that's the style of ball that's played over there, 3-point shots and things like that. So I don't see it getting any better. I agree with you. And
Yeah.
I ain't even gonna talk about the gambling because you were so eloquent on that piece. You spoke to every point about it, and that's the underbelly, and that's what's undermining a lot of these games. Because
Right.
again, you don't know. And look, I'm not referees. I'm not naming anyone or saying that you guys are, but you as a referee have control over, with that whistle, how points play out.
Yep.
And we've seen it happen already in prior history in the NBA with the gentleman that was fined and whatever they caught him in a illegal gambling scheme. We've seen players involved with it. So it doesn't go away. And you spoke to that eloquently. And I just think, as you said, Sam, that this has to get worse. It's going to get worse before it actually gets better. And there's just so many other things I see, like AAU basketball. I think that's muddied the waters when it comes to our kids' talent. It hasn't been a help. I think it's been a huge hindrance to our kids, and just so many other factors. Like there's no skill set being developed.
Right.
None of the basic things. So, as a lover of basketball and the person who loves it, I hope it gets better. But yeah, I too, like you, sometimes I try to watch it. And sometimes I don't even turn the game on sometimes until the third or fourth quarter. Late in the third or fourth quarter, just if it's a tight game, if it seems like it's a contested game, I'll ride it up. But I really rarely now watch a game from start to finish. So I just hope it gets better, in the long run. But to be seen. Anything other news that popped up over the weekend that caught your attention, or you wanted to speak about that we haven't taken time here to talk about tonight, my brother?
No, I think we covered the main points. My obituary to doggone Luka and the Dallas Mavericks. I think that was the key thing right there. And like I said, like I didn't watch all of the Grammys, but I am happy for some of the winners that were out there. Like I said, I really felt like it was K-Dot's year. I really felt like Dolce's album was so vibrant. And I'm looking forward to the upcoming Grammys too, because like if you haven't listened to Tyler the Creator's album,
I heard it. I haven't listened to it yet, but I heard it pretty dope.
That's another one that's out there. So like just I like the space that rap is coming back into, because it was, for me, it was lost for a minute. With all the rappers who had like Lil or YMB or some shit like that in front of their name. So to get back to the true art, like I'm really appreciative of that. So
I agree.
Like, that's really it.
I was pretty blown away, like I said, with the new art and new talent that's being put out. I don't know. Maybe it resonates more with my ear because I can understand what they're saying and what they're speaking on and what they're talking about. Where I think we went through a period of time, mumble rap, different jargons, of rap that wasn't really pleasant to my ears, in a sense that I could sit down and really enjoy the art of the work that they were doing. But I agree with you. We are in a space. I think we have so much talent, not only just in rap, but now just looking across the industries, R&B, with all of the, SZA, Thames, like all of this different talent that is really bleeding out and leading to the forefront. You still got Beyonce out here killing the game. Shout out to her, creating that space. And even, K Michelle, in the country and Western space, like, again, she's from Tennessee. I listened to some of her stuff, man, really dope. So I wish her continued success in pushing that needle. and just the whole industry itself, man. It seems like maybe we're turning the corner,
Right.
and we're going to get back to artistry,
Right.
and music versus some of the. I don't know what happened in that blank period. Seemed like it was a blank period of time, so I enjoyed it as well.
Hey, look, I am tracking.
Mhm.
Like I am really tracking. So let's see what 2025 is going to bring us.
That's it. I mean, we already got crazy.
Yeah, plenty of crazy going on.
Plenty of crazy going on. But look, y'all, it's been a great conversation. Another episode of Two Mics Up Tuesday Blitz. Rocking with my partner, Big Sam. You know, he's here with me, you know, every week that we're here, Lord willing, keeps putting the air in our lungs and giving us the foresight to come out and just chop it up, have a little fun, break up the monotony, you know, from the stranger things that are going on out here in the world. Before we close out, Sam, you know, I want to go ahead, man, you know, like we always do, want to give you your moment to go ahead and shine and talk about anything that you got going on. Anybody want to come see you and do your thing?
Oh, let's see what I got going on. A whole lot of nothing. I mean, I got a couple of future events. BlurredCon is coming up in March. I think the theme is Thriller. Tony Todd, you know, may he rest in peace. He was supposed to be like the highlight of it, but unfortunately he passed last year. But I like it because it's a space that, you know, if you're into anime, comics, video games, you know, card games, because they have like Magic the Gathering and all that stuff. It's a place for blurs, which is black nerds, to sit here and get together and fellowship and just be around each other in a safe space. So I plan on doing a little bit of filming and interviewing when I'm out there. So that's going to be March 6th through 9th. So I'm really excited about that.
Well, look here, we're gonna have to create a little segment for that, so you can come here and you can come on and you can talk about that, man. And we create a space here for you to do that. We are inclusive here. We do not exclude anyone. We might talk about you, but you're not excluded. You know, we this is a very safe place, and we welcome all. So make sure you check out Sam. You know, look, my man, veteran gamer, low key chef. He does everything, man. A great guy, and I really appreciate him. You know, sitting here with me each and every week, sharing his insight, which is a lot of times is on point. Yeah, we have a good time laughing and joking. So go ahead and check Sam out, and we'll look forward to his segment. You know, coming up maybe sometime later on in March, early April. We'll work that out for you guys. And I'm your humble host, Damon Cunningham, aka Dame DNYDC. This is Two Mics Up Tuesday Blitz, part of the Two Mics Up family. You can follow Two Mics Up across Facebook, IG, X, YouTube. You know, wherever you see Two Mics Up at, man, go ahead and follow, man. We always keep it real with the talk. Some of the dope guests, man, and we are blessed to be a 4-time award-winning show. 2025 season 8. We're gonna kick off with a live with my sister Katisha Ship. She's gonna be here Wednesday, February 26th at 8 p.m. It's gonna be the kickoff for season 8. So come on through, mark your calendars, man. Come rock with us, and we'll see you then. And like we do, ladies and gentlemen, at each and every show, may you all stay safe, stay blessed. Mike's out. All right, and we gonna hit that button, y'all. We gone. See y'all next week.